Let's talk about the weekend first of all. I mean, obviously, when you spoke to Nick afterwards, you underlined how good the performance was, but it must have been especially pleasing to have both of your strikers score, because it hasn't been all that often this season.
It's fantastic for both of the strikers, to be fair, to get on the score sheet. But as we said, it was a really, really good team performance, which I have to say was magnificent from our point of view, and we all need to do that both in attack and defence. And it was great for the whole team to get a clean sheet, and it was really, really good for the two strikers to both get on the score sheet in the same game. So yeah, overall a really, really pleasing day, and we now change our focus obviously to the game tomorrow night at Preston.
And you've really placed an emphasis on playing on the front foot and being very forward thinking in terms of how you go out there. And with both the goals and the clean sheets, is that all part of really taking the game to the opposition?
Yeah, it is definitely, and it's not really a focus on that. It's a focus on us being Peterborough United. Peterborough United having a stamp and a way of playing that really excites our fans, and it's exciting for the players to play in. So from that point of view, that's what we're looking to achieve. It's what we have achieved in the first 4 games so far, and what we'll be hoping to achieve in the next one, obviously tomorrow night.
Yeah, and you must be really pleased, because perhaps it's a number of teams can perform in the way you perform for sections of games, but to have that energy, to have that desire, that commitment to play in the way that you've been playing for the full 90 minutes is a really good effort.
Well, yeah, and whenever I refer to that with the players, I never refer to it as 90 minutes. We refer to it as 96, 97, 98, and as it was in the Orient game, there was an additional 10 minutes just of injury time in the second half. So we talk about playing to the final whistle and seeing the game out and seeing it through. We have some real consistency in our performances at the minute. We need to make sure that we don't get complacent. We need to take the energy levels and the real attacking style of play that we have in the first 4 games into every game, and especially the next one, which is going to be obviously against Preston and tough opponents.
Yeah, how do you deal with that complacency? Because it's an inevitable challenge, really. You've won 4 games on the bounce, and it's something that you just have to guard against.
Well, all we do is, listen, win, lose or draw. We come in and we work hard and we work at 100%. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't ask for any more than that. And I don't expect any less from that from the players, day in, day out. And that's what they've brought to the table themselves. And that's what set their own standards. That's what set the benchmark of what they want to achieve in every single game. And so far, they've given us nothing short of that. So, listen, from my point of view, I can't ask for any more than that. They can't give us any more than what they're giving. So we're just going to ask them to keep maintaining the standards that they've set for themselves.
In terms of Preston, they've clearly had a good season given their position in the league. They've been very solid throughout the campaign, but over the past month or so, they've really added some goals as well. But
we've kept 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games, so yeah, that makes the game a little bit exciting for us and puts a little bit of an edge, and I think gives my team collectively a real focus to continue to defend in the way that they have done, because of we take pride in not conceding goals, and that's important. So that's all we'll do. We'll continue to focus on ourselves and not focus on Preston. I'm sure they'll be looking at us and how we set up, and talking about how Peterborough United play, and that's what I want. I want other teams to be talking about us rather than us to be over concentrating on them. However, they are a strong team, and we'll be going into it well prepared, as we have done for the last 4.
Yeah, and it's nice to have some evidence in the bag, as it were. Maybe a few weeks ago when you were going into these bigger games, there wasn't a huge amount to draw on, but with Bradford and with Sheffield United, you can point to those performances and say, yeah, look what we did.
Yeah, and Doncaster as well, and that's what we're saying to the players is, look, this is what we do. This is what we do at Peterborough United, and that's the stamp that they're starting to put on their performance levels as a group and as a squad. So, listen, we'll be taking that into tomorrow night's game we'll be travelling up there full of confidence, full of belief in ourselves, and definitely not being fearful of anybody in this league because of we are a good team. They are a strong group of players, and I have every faith that they'll continue to perform the way that they have done in the last 4 games.
Yeah, in terms of injuries, Joe Newell had been struggling a bit with his back, but he was back in the side and within about 10-15 minutes was running the whole length of the pitch, taking on half their team and trying to get himself a goal.
Yeah, exactly. We have no injury concerns at all. Everybody's available. They've all trained this morning, so we're all ready and raring to go now for tomorrow night.
Yeah, so for Christian Burgess just dropping off the bench, was that a case of Sean Brisley was available and you didn't really have the space for 2 centre-backs?
No, Sean was in there, and we spoke about it as a group of staff, and I made the final decision to go with, rather than go with 2 centre-halves on the bench, I decided to go with a much more attacking approach. And that's what we done. We only had 1 defender on the bench, and listen, we said if we need to, then we'll inject some real energy and an attacking style and go more attacking later on in the game if need be, and that's what we've done. And unfortunately for Burge, he missed out on making the bench on Saturday. But listen, he's a fantastic player, a really good defender. So listen, when he gets his opportunity, I'm sure he'll take it. He's a very good professional as well, to be fair to him.
Yeah, and in terms of those centre-back options, I'm sure you'd be loath to move Michael Bostwick from midfield given the way he's been playing, but of course if things change in a match, that is always an option for you.
Well, it is always an option, but it's not an option that I want to take and that I'm looking at, if I'm being brutally honest. I've got 4 centre-halves at the club. We've got Rico and Gabby, who obviously have done magnificent in the first 4 games. And you've also got, obviously, back in there, might be Sean Brisley and Christian Burgess, who are equally very good defenders. They're defenders with a different style. But from me, you've got Gabby and Rico who are doing ever so well, and I'm not looking anywhere else other than the other 2 centre-halves if I need replacements.
Now, we wouldn't normally throw transfer rumours at you, but this particular one's so good it's popped up on Twitter. I'm going to ask you about it anyway. Claude Napka, who was very popular when he was here, he's been mentioned in connection with maybe doing a bit of training. Is there any truth in this at all? Yeah,
Claude's been in at the club for around about a month now. We have a policy here. We like to look after our old players and help them out in any which way we can. And Claude's come in and asked if he can come in and do some extra training. He done that for a few weeks. I've spoken to Claude. There's definitely no transfer rumours there. He won't be getting a contract here with us, but we're helping him maintain his fitness. So if anybody does want to come in for him, then he's available and he's fit and ready to go. He's a great lad. He's good around the place. He's been a league winner here with the club, so he understands what it means to bring success to the football club and a good person to have around a training ground. So yeah, Claude has been in. We won't be signing him, but he's been excellent to have around the place.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. He's such a big character and he was so popular last time around. It must just be a bit like having Aaron McLean, really, just one of these people you like to have around.
Well, listen, he's a great person and he's full of enthusiasm and he's full of energy, and the youngsters see that now. So he's a good person that they can learn from, and also at the same time, if it can help him out, then listen, I have no problems with that whatsoever.
Is the deadline for loan players? There is a loan deadline, isn't there, in terms of the emergency loans? Is that coming up fairly soon?
Yeah, it is. It's next Thursday. So, but as what we said, I've got a good squad, a really good squad. We may look close to not to strengthen the squad in terms of bringing players in, but strengthening the squad. In the case of injuries or suspensions, we may have a look at that, but we won't be addressing that in the short term. That won't be something that happens, I wouldn't imagine, until next week, and conversations that we have with our recruitment panel, with the chairman and the director of football, and the staff, etc. So we don't need any. Well, I don't need any at the minute. But we will obviously address that next week as that deadline comes a little bit closer.
Yeah, I guess it's something that's always just prudent to have in mind, isn't it? And one situation that perhaps is a bit fluid, Aaron McLean with his coaching, maybe if he is going to focus a little more on that, then perhaps you might want cover for him?
No, we've got strikers. I've got obviously Connor and Luca were both on the score sheet. I've got Carl Vassell who come off the bench to set up the second goal. Obviously the other day, and I've got Erhan who can slot in there as well as a number 10. So listen, in terms of centre forwards, I'm very happy with what we've got. We've got strong competition for the two places. I've got the centre forward scoring in the same game, so yeah, it's definitely not an area. If there is any areas that I think that are important that we look at, is maybe bringing in another fullback, because of I don't have any natural cover for Cozzy and Michael Smith if either of them got injured or suspended. So that may be an area that I look to address, obviously going into the final running of the season. But other than that, we've got competition for places, we've got quality in the starting 11, we've got quality if we need to replace them. So yeah, I'm happy with where we're at.